Dumb, cool,
and weird.
podcast. One thing I want to talk about is one thing that I'm really happy about with the way things have changed is I'm glad that women are able to do more stuff. You know, I'm glad that women are taking initiative and want to work jobs that are typically done by men. I think that's really cool. I also think that it's really cool that a lot of them, because I actually saw a female construction worker the other day when I was driving.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is really cool. I also think it's really cool how, the wages are pretty much evening out, and it's based off merit, not based off of your gender or whatever, I think that's really cool,
I mean, it's been illegal since I think it was the 70s to pay women less. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think a lot of good things have come from that, but I think that one thing that really bothers me about men nowadays, and this is something that me and you've been talking about, is how the testosterone levels are dropping with men.
Yes.
And I think that's a really big issue,
It is. I mean, we're also having a fertility crisis with men these days, and that's related to the testosterone levels. I mean, men's handshakes have actually gotten weaker, while women's, believe it or not, have actually gotten stronger.
Yeah, that's
or stayed the same.
Well, maybe these things that are affecting us with our hormones, like the food and whatever plastic or whatever they're saying is causing a lot of the the testosterone to go down.
Yeah.
Maybe it's affecting women in a different way. Maybe it's affecting them maybe not the same way, but it's affecting them like it's affecting us. But it's making something happen to them, and then it's making something happen to us.
Well, actually, there was kind of an interesting thing about that because I had a friend whose niece was having to switch up her food completely to more of a whole foods because all the chemicals in chicken were actually giving her like the early signs of puberty at a young age.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they had to actually switch all of that up because it was actually morphing her hormones.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's also interesting. We could always say even the food for men. Mm-hmm. But we can also say maybe we're not put into the same levels of stress that our ancestors may have had to face, or even a generation before us had to face in terms of our work, our environment. So it may have made it to where we're more comfortable. So our hormones are all fucked up because we're not in that necessarily that fight or flight risk all the time. We're just kind of balanced out these days.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I think you know me, like I'm about to start testosterone replacement therapy myself. So
Nice.
My testosterone is half of what it should be right now, which is not good. And talking to my dad said that like his testosterone is probably higher than mine, and then he said my grandfather's testosterone was even higher than his. So this has been a problem that's been developing probably since the 50s, I would imagine.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see people from back in the day when you look at when male testosterone was at a lot higher. Mm-hmm. You got to see pictures of your grandparents where they're like looking fit. Everyone's got washboard abs. There's not one fat body on the beach.
Yep. And even if being fat back then is different than being fat now, like
you were like wealthy and lazy fat.
Yeah, you had a little bit of basically what the dad bod is now was fat back then.
Kind of like your. God, but when you were 40 back then, you looked like you were knocking on death's door.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like now 40 doesn't look like a death sentence anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's really weird. It's almost like the drugs and the food like kind of keeps us just going just enough, If you want to check out more of our stuff, go to www.dumbcoolweird.com. You'll find our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon link if you want to support us. Also, be sure to check out our merch store. And if you're interested in being on our podcast, you can find a link on our website so you can reach out to us and tell us if you want to talk to us about something that's really weird, dumb, or cool. We'd be glad to hear from you. Hope you will stay tuned for the next weird ass episodes we got. Thank you.